Hello everyone, this is Captain Joel and welcome to my latest Marvel Puzzle Quest video. In this video we are going to be looking at Medusa, the Inhuman Queen. So this is a 4-star character. She has 13,995 health at level 270 and she's a yellow, red, purple character. So they have the Inhuman comics that have been being pushed a lot lately. So Medusa, as the queen of the Inhumans, Medusa leads her people with admirable determination and absolute loyalty. Offering her home on New Attilan as a safe haven for new Inhumans, Queen Medusalith Amaquelin will go to great lengths to ensure the protection of her people. Should the need arise, she will not hesitate to enter the fray, psychokinetically controlling her steel-strong hair to grab, whip, and slash her enemies. I bet she loves that song by Will Smith's daughter. You know, the one with I whip my hair in the air. Anyhow, so she's an interesting character in that she has two passives and only one active move. So her yellow and her red are both passives. So the yellow is called the Resolute Queen. So no matter the situation, Queen Medusa protects and leads her people with unwavering loyalty and determination. Whenever an attack, protect, or strike tile is matched, if it was a friendly tile, at 3 covers it'll give a burst of 708 health to the team. At 4 covers it'll give 798 health to the team. And at 5 covers, 1289 health to the team. And then the other condition is if it was an enemy tile, you gain 2 AP in purple, green, or blue, or you get 3 if you have 5 covers. So again, there's no difference for the AP game between 3 and 4 covers, and all a 5th cover does is add an extra AP gain. Although the health difference is over double between 3 and 5 covers. Now, I'm going to show you this move in action. It's kind of seemed like it's a bit tricky to figure out what really happens because in terms of whether it triggers on enemy match or my own match for matching the other tiles, it seems a bit random when I've done it in the past. But we'll see if we can find any consistency in it. So the enemy just made a match, and I did get blue AP. So the enemy is able to match their own special tile, and it will give AP. And interestingly enough, it was purple special tiles that were matched, and it gave blue AP, which seems to imply that the AP awarded is random. I would have thought that it might have had some sort of priority, like if the enemy matched a purple special tile, that you would have gotten purple AP. And if they matched blue special tile, you would have gotten blue AP, and if they matched green, you would have gotten green AP. And if it was one of the other colors, then it might have been random at that point. But it seems like it's completely random which AP you get. So that's something interesting to see. Now I am going to match a special tile. This is a strike tile, so again, let's see which AP type I get. I got blue AP again. Again, the enemy matched blue, and I'm getting blue again. 3 times in a row I'm getting blue. That's funny. Now let's see what happens when we have the enemy matching my own special tiles. Okay. So there were two special tiles matched, and it healed me separately twice, meaning each tile works on each match. So I did get the full impact of both of those tiles being matched. And I'm guessing it will be the same if I match the tiles myself. Yes. So it's definitely quite a lot of health you can get if you are able to create a lot of special tiles. However, obviously I'm using a 3-star team right now, and with the one of the two characters that creates the most special tiles in the game, Modern Storm. So I would not assume that this is applicable to another situation. But it's definitely great for recovering health non-stop. And if the enemy creates special tiles, then gaining a bunch of AP. But of course, you need a character that can make use of that AP, since Medusa only has one active color, and she's creating AP. Luckily, in all the other colors, she's not, for example, you creating yellow or red AP, since she has two passives. So this skill is definitely incredibly annoying if you were fighting against her and you were relying on bringing in your own special tile user creator. However, this power could be completely useless, just about, not entirely, but just about, if you don't bring your own special tile creator with you. What special tiles will there be for her to match if you don't create any? She can create her own with her red move, as we'll see in a moment, but this is a very situational skill. It will definitely be annoying to fight her, though, when she is boosted and she has 5 in yellow, as she will be healing thousands of health every turn, potentially, if you're not careful. Uh, and it's an entire team healing. It's like Kamala Khan um, times 2 in terms of the amount of health being healed. Not to mention the fact that she will naturally have higher health as a 4-star, and throw in that whole creating AP from enemy tile matches, and you have another extra annoying thing. But it's definitely not going to trigger as reliably or as often as Kamala Khan's did. So it's an interesting skill, um, and it's just very situational, though. So I would only use her during certain events, whether it be PvE or PvP. Now let's take a look at her red skill. Again, this is another passive. It's called entanglement. So Medusa sends her here out to grab and whip opponents. Every turn, if one does not exist, create at 3 covers a 3-turn countdown tile, and if you have 4, that stays the same, and at 5 covers you get a 4-turn countdown tile. So each turn, if you only have 3 covers, it's only doing 284 damage at the end of your turns. And at 4 covers, only 411 damage. And at 5 covers, it finally gets up to 664 damage. And this is kind of like a tactile currently. They might change it in the future, but right now it's currently resolving with attack tiles, meaning if you have an attack tile out, the damage from this countdown tile is added to the attack tile, which means you won't be able to, say, get benefits of having strike tiles out and double tapping, or rather triple tapping, if you have attack tiles out as well. Um, so that's just something to point out. So that means when it's saying that every turn it's creating one, so that means the first turn this will do nothing, meaning you're the player, you start a match, turn 1, no tile created. Turn 2, the tile is going to be created, and it's only on turn 3 that the tile will do any damage. And then you'll have 2 more turns that it'll do damage at 3 or 4 covers, or 3 more turns that it'll do damage at 4 covers, and then it'll resolve, and then the next turn it'll create a new tile and it won't do any damage yet. So it takes a little bit to get rolling. Wait a minute, never mind, that's not right. It's going to do the damage at the end of the turn, not at the beginning, so it actually will get the full 3 or 4 turns of damage. But nevertheless, it's not quite as reliable or consistent as some other skills because of the fact that you have to create that countdown tile. Now this has an incredible side effect that if this countdown tile is matched, it uses the language destroyed. It creates at 3 covers 2 strength 143 attack tiles, at 4 covers 2 strength 206 attack tiles, and at 5 covers 2 strength 333 attack tiles. So that's a huge amount of damage you can get if this is matched away, and you should be actively trying to get this tile matched. There's no reason to let it just sit out, because the attack tiles are going to be worth more damage than the countdown tile. But this is kind of like a unique version of Iron Fist with his black skill that creates an attack tile every turn if there's not one out. This one, you can create those attack tiles and still have the countdown tile created every time it's not out. So it's really going to be a very much luck-based skill if this is useful or not. If you have these countdown tiles created in the corners and never matched away, then your 3-star Iron Fist is going to be doing just about as much damage as a 4-star maxed out Medusa. However, if you're able to match away that special tile a couple times, then you're going to be doing an insane amount of damage every turn. So it really depends on the luck of the draw for where these countdown tiles show up. Okay, so this is now the second turn. So we see that entanglement is created at the beginning of the turn, and now it deals out its damage. Note that it's currently on a black tile, and that the color of the tile it shows up on is actually random. So you saw that it went away at the beginning of that turn. So actually, I got it a little bit mixed up when I was describing it earlier. It's really on the opposite end that you don't get that full use out of it. So this is going to activate, it's a 4-turn tile right now, so it activated at the end of the first turn it was out. It'll activate at the second turn and the third turn, and then the fourth turn it disappears before it gets used, since it's used at the end of the turn, which is what makes it not quite as useful. So I destroyed that tile. It wasn't matched, and it created those tiles which were just destroyed. But anyhow, that's not the point. The point is that after those tiles were destroyed, it didn't need to be matched. She created attack tiles. Wait, actually, one of them survived over here, that 333 one. Interesting to note that it was a black tile destroyed, and the attack tile showed up on blue tiles. So it really does seem entirely random where her special tiles end up for red. And lastly, let's take a look at her purple. Her only active skill is called Hair Metal. It costs 10 purple AP. Medusa's hair wriggles its way through enemy defenses, causing chaos and confusion. It swaps 16 pairs of random tiles, stealing any swapped enemy. If you have just 3 covers, it'll steal strike or protect tiles. If you have 4 or 5 covers, it'll add in stealing attack tiles. And it improves them by 258 at 3 and 4 covers and 431 at 5 covers. So this is kind of like a better version of Dr. Octopus's blue, where he swaps enemy tiles, except when he swaps them, he doesn't steal them. When he swaps them, he destroys them, and he deals damage for each one destroyed, and it just costs 1 AP more. Um, so in theory, it really depends on the match, but Dr. Octopus's move could actually be more powerful, and he's a 3-star. So, I mean, yes, you could be stealing a high damage strike tile and doing an extra 1,000 damage, 2,000 damage a turn if you are going up against Old Man Logan's strike tiles. But you could also just be going up against some weaker enemy, and this move will be useless. You might be stealing some very weak tile, and who cares if it's a bit stronger? It's still going to be pretty weak. But it still will be better in the long run for a match, most likely. So it's a semi-useful skill, but like the yellow, it's very conditional. If you're not going up against an enemy that creates special tiles, it's useless, entirely useless. You're going to spend 10 AP to just move 16 tiles. You might as well bring 3-star Loki and use his purple, which only costs, what, 5 or 6 purple AP? Loki. Costs 5 purple AP, and you can swap a lot more tiles. So, I mean, this is just a very conditional character. I would say, compared to the other 4-star conditional characters, you've got that are very conditional. I'd say you have Wasp and Elektra are probably the only characters that are as conditional as Medusa in terms of being effective in only very limited circumstances. So let's just take a quick look at this in action, and then we can discuss teammates. Okay, right now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 enemy attack tiles out. So let's see if we can actually get lucky and swap them. That's a lot of here. Okay, so we swapped it and matched it away. Fantastic. So the whole point about stealing ended up being completely useless, and we would have been better off with Dr. Octopus. Of course, stealing it also activated her yellow, so I guess it could go either way, but it's just very strange that you would end up stealing a special tile. Yeah, it's now doing a bunch of extra damage, but you also destroyed the very tile that you were trying to steal. So it's just very shady for me if it's really worthwhile or not. But I don't know. It's just very conditional, and half the time you're going to end up destroying the tiles you wanted to steal. So I'm not very into that power. So what is her best build? I think you need the 5 in red because that's the only real guaranteed damage at all in her build. I mean, everything else is just too dependent on who you're fighting and luck and whatnot. So definitely 5 in red. For purple, you definitely want, it depends on who you're fighting. If you're fighting an enemy that creates attack tiles, then you would want 4 or 5. If you're fighting an enemy that does not create attack tiles and only creates strike or protect tiles, then a 3 or 4 would be more than enough. Well, 3 actually will be either 3 or 5. I just don't see the increase from 258 to 431 worth it as much as the increase from 3 to 5 in yellow. If you're in a match and your opponent is able to heal 500 damage, it's not that big of a deal. If they can heal 1200 damage, that's a huge deal because they might be able to get that off a second time or a third time, and it can really delay the matches. So it really would depend on the opponent you're facing very much. But I would still be more likely to think that having a 5 in yellow and a 5 in red is the general rule. And you would only want more in purple if you're going to be fighting an enemy that makes attack tiles a lot. So, in terms of rating for this character, it's very difficult to tell how useful she will be because so much of her skills are kind of random and dependent on the enemy. So I would say against specific enemies, she would be a very useful teammate to have. And in terms of a utility character, she does very little damage though. So she's just not going to be a powerhouse of any team. And most often in this game, it's all about damage, damage, damage. It's not about utility, unfortunately. That's just the way the game is designed. So, uh, while I know that some people might disagree with this, I'm going to put her in the top of the bottom tier. She's just not that useful except in very specific circumstances. She's combining Iron Fist, Kamala Khan, and Dr. Octopus from the 3-star tier all into one character, with adding in a little bit of her own twist with the AP creation. It's just too much that she's trying to do without enough damage coming out of her. So she's just definitely on the bottom tier, but still higher up on it because in those circumstances when she can be useful, she will be very good. She'll be great against Old Man Logan if you can survive his match damage, um, and she'll be great when boosted as well because it's going to be really annoying with her automatic her automatic damage from her countdown tile every turn. When it's boosted, it's probably going to do. Actually, we can check. Okay, when boosted is at level 345, her red is going to be doing 1,131 damage every turn. So, not insane, but pretty dang good for a 4-star. Um, she's only at level 270, meaning she's not boosted as much as a level 290 character, but also of note is that her health is somewhat on the lower end. She's not a Professor X level health character, but she's also not one of the more annoying characters that would have 30 to 40,000 health. Um, but that's important for making the game fair because her health, she's going to be healing 2,000 damage with her yellow. So I think boosted she could be useful, but in a regular match she's definitely bottom tier. Now, who will she go well with? Well, first off, she only has one active skill, which is very important to remember, and there's no point having a character that has no skills that you would use on them active, so you would probably want to have her purple be the one you use. So you would want to avoid bringing in another purple user, most likely. You'd also want to take into account that she's going to be creating blue and green AP. So you also want to be bringing a character that might create special tiles. So for teammates, um, again, it depends on PvE or PvP, but if you're doing PvE, you could bring Ice Band to get that blue and green usage out, and then you would still need to find somebody that has black and red and yellow. Ta-da! A black and red yellow character that will create special tiles for you every time you use a move. In addition to that, you've got active skills. The only problem is his red will be weaker if you have special tiles out. So it's kind of a funny situation. Um, but I think that they would make great teammates. Luke Cage just hasn't really had a place on most teams, um, but I think that he will go pretty well with Medusa as far as teammates go. Other potential teammates would include Carnage and War Machine would also make great teammates. You've got the blue and the green for War Machine, and you can use Carnage's red, and Carnage's black will be insane. So if you were to have a, you could even forget Medusa's red in that situation. Just bring 5 yellow and 5 purple and 3 red. You bring a 5 red, 5 black Carnage, and a 3 red, 5 blue, and 5 green War Machine, and the amount of damage you'll be dishing out, you'll be healing constantly, you'll be able to steal enemy attack tiles that Carnage creates. That team would be insane in PvE. And let me just quickly show you what that looks like. Okay, prepare to start seeing some incredible stuff happening here. Just incredible. Okay, I've already got 10 blue AP. It's pretty good. Got a bunch of attack tiles out. Healing, stealing. Just gonna one-shot my enemy. Create more of these attack tiles for me to take advantage of for healing. Okay, getting some more AP. Getting some more AP and healing at the same time. Just gonna heal a bit. It's funny because it was really difficult finding a team that would work well with War Machine before. But I think that with War Machine, Carnage, and Medusa, you might actually finally have a good team. Although the matches will be so incredibly slow that I can't imagine ever wanting to do this for PvE, just because of the amount of time it would take for every turn. For PvE, it would definitely be annoying, but you can only bring 2 characters along with you for PvE, for PvP, so that wouldn't really be an issue. But this is really slow. But I guess once I use purple, it'll speed up a bit, as I'm now going to be stealing all of these tiles that I've been creating. It really is crazy. I mean, look at this. It takes a few turns to get started, but once you do, it's just insane. Who cares if you just got hurt? You'll heal up in a turn. And this is with my yellow at only 3, I believe. Imagine how annoying this would be if it was at 5 right now. Boop. So you can come out of a match at full health, just about. Although it can take a little bit to get started. So, in conclusion, I think that she's bottom tier, except with very specific teammates or against very specific opponents. In those situations, I think she will be top tier and allow previously unusable characters to finally have a purpose. So, it's that's why I've just been very conflicted about her as a character, because she's either complete garbage or insane. So I guess we'll just have to see what other characters come out that create special tiles and really take advantage of her skill set, because she's probably one of the most dependent teammates in the game, um, in terms of usefulness, next to maybe Wasp. But there are a few teammates out there now that can take advantage of this. But we'll have to wait and see. But anyhow, thanks for watching and stay tuned for more videos.